You go.
This is actually after a bunch of testing and different dampers and mounting positions, and we hadn't had it right side up yet, but we kind of figured it would be smooth sailing from here, and until we flipped it over. As you can see, we're having issues with it winding up, hitting hard. Thing was surging so much that if that Diet Mountain Dew bottle on the table was full, it'd tip over. Speed did play a part in the hysteresis, but for the most part, the faster, the more violent. Yeah, that little dot on my thumb there, that's from silicon bronze blowing through my welding coat and ending up in my hand. Even regular tweezers wouldn't pull it out. It's kind of like an icicle in there. I had to use pliers. Yeah, we were getting closer.
All right. Hit it.
We were real close here. Probably thought a little closer than we actually were. Still speed dependent.
How's the backrest jiggling? All right. A little temporary, but all right. So what we have here is my fucking hand. I don't know. Jesus Christ. Oh, where'd the fucking shot go? God damn it. Alrighty. Today, tell you a little story about what I've been doing for a week or so. Basically, fuck all. Feels like it anyway. Alright, so we had to make some washers here. And, whatever, they didn't turn out too fucking good. So our table has suspension. So as that table moves, the actuator that moves it is fighting a bunch of forces, one of them being stiction. What ends up happening if nothing's in the way, basically it goes in a little hysteresis, so it's surging forward and back as it glides across the way there. So we need to figure out a way to dampen that. Sounds pretty easy. We've had, I don't know, 20 of these things. Fat ones, long ones, big ones, short ones. Ones that dampen one way, offer rebound the other. Some are called traction struts, and those are done opposite. They actually are contracted like that, and it's work to actually pull them out. You can put, these are 6 mil, so you can put anything you want on there. First we tried these little machined ends here, pins like such. There's a little slop in there though. So what happens there is just slopping that pin, rattles, vibrates, and
God damn, is this going to be a long story or what?
So along the way, we've tested a bunch of stuff out, and when this actuator's moving across the table, it's stopped electrically. It's turned off, and it's allowed to have a certain amount of momentum before it hits that stop.
Yep.
So
it's a long story, all right.
Do those simultaneously, where your end stop and your electric stop are, the whole thing shakes. And it's a slide hammer. If you just have a spring on there, say a piece of rubber to bounce, or this spring here, in certain modes, it will actually rebound off the end, spring back past its electronic stop, and move again. So when you're talking about a 350-pound tabletop, it can do some damage. So we made these machined aluminum caps. They're recessed proper amount. We played with spring rates, and that is what we've come up with. One of these has a recess in it. This one. These are precision bearings, real nice, smooth. We can actually put our fasteners in there, clamp it real tight, and still allows it to pivot real nice, zero slop. And this one's for the backside. So the fight this week has been your spring rates, dampen rate, rebound rate, and then it's also about your angles, the angle of the dangle. So here it acts one way, here it may act another.
Yeah, and, this asshole thought he was
how
done.
That plays out in
that
real world.
Couple plates there
requires that whole table to be built back up.
Dumbass actually put a little spit shine on that, thinking
and
that was going to find its final resting place welded in.
At various stopping and starting points, the end points, obviously. And
yeah, there's nothing obvious about that, you dumbass. I must have remade that square plate another half dozen times.
This
or
is our cold
different
stuff
variations
here.
of it
CF,
anyway.
Hardened material, real nice. You got the right tools, nice to work with. It's very clean. The electronic shutoff is just prior to the mechanical stop, so it glides right in there and just rests against that stop mechanically. And at certain points we have it compressed, obviously.
Yep.
On one side it compresses the suspension. Actually, there's two of these in the system now. And we've gone through numerous little swoopy things here and different angles on this radius, and trying to pretty much, get it fairly well balanced, or I guess another word would be refined. All right.
I use cardboard to mock up mounting brackets when I have to crawl under the table and get some rudimentary measurements, transfer it to some graph paper, and go back underneath the table, getting some hard measurements, and start drawing it up and refining it a little bit. And once I've got that drawing, I go back to the cardboard and see how it fits. Once I do that, I actually start cutting the metal and seeing how that fits onto my graph paper and the design. And then I cut out the design and glue it to the metal. Then it's time to cut it out. I can either plasma cut it or cold cut it or bandsaw it, which I'm doing here. And there's my only 3-phase machine in the shop. Allows me to turn down the speed considerably for metal and then jack it way up for wood. This blade's smoked from the legs, and you actually see me stop, and I crank the speed back up to compensate. There it is, all rough cut, and then it actually requires sanding and grinding and squaring everything up to make it perfect. Then I transfer punch it to mark the locations exactly. Here I am making this square plate variation again, and yeah, those two cuts aren't where I'm cutting it out. It's actually where I welded a plate back in so I can change the mounting hole location once again where there wasn't metal. Holy shit, I'm actually getting close here. Real close, like almost done close. So the bolt holes in the plate are in their final location, tested. Just waiting on a couple different specialized fasteners to arrive today and into next week. Then I can recess the bolts into the plates and remove some of my temporary washers, tweak some of those dimensions, and cut the standoffs and weld them in there. Well, here's the final location of our two shock absorbers. Yeah, at this point, we're just waiting on our speed-sensitive, oil-filled, nitrogen-filled damper and with adjustable rebound. It's actually going to mount where that third open screw is at, and hopefully it won't be too much of an issue to get it in there.
All right, here we go. Oh, god damn, I say.
It's in there. Working pretty well. Pretty pleased with it. And on to the next step. Hey, thanks for watching. Check back in and see how this build's going along. Any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.